your bio sketch suck. Let's get right to it. Like, listen, when I was coming up, my bio sketch sucked too. I just did 5 boards and reviewed applications from every single rank except for Command Sergeants Major. And most of them, except for a few, really look bad, right? And I don't know where that's stemming from. When I was a first sergeant, I went and reviewed every single bio. I taught the platoon sergeants how to do a proper bio, how to properly review them before they came up to me for signature for soldiers that were submitting promotion packets. I don't know if that's still a practice today, but it is something that we need to get better at. Either way, let's get right to it. So right here, we're gonna start right off the bat looking for biographical sketch templates. Let's see what Google brings us. Let's make it even more specific. Army biographical sketches. So there we go. You got an Army Bio Sketch from Cal Guard, it looks like, and one from Illinois National Guard. If you've seen a bio sketch or two, you should know generally what they look like. A biography, a leader biography, is not the same thing as the bio sketch that you submit for application for AGRs, application for some kind of ADOS position. Some states still require promotion for almost every rank. If you're going to put in a packet for first sergeant or Sergeant Major Academy or Command Sergeant Major, like all of these, for the most part, most states still are using the biographical sketch as the standard in addition or in lieu of your ERB. So this ain't it right here, this ain't it right here, this ain't it right here. So you can ignore all of these. Army Bio example, and you see a picture, bio taken from official military website. No, let's see what this is right here. Nope, this is not it, right? You already know what a bio looks like. United States Army biography, nope, that's not it. So let's try these two right here. Fortunately, I've already downloaded these, and this is what this looks like. This is the Illinois Guard. Okay, this is generally what it looks like right here. And by the way, if you want to go straight to how to build it, just skip to the time code over here. When it hits 0, that's it. So I see here this bold is a little bit bigger than the other. This font is this font is a little bit bigger than the other. This font right here doesn't look quite right. It gives us a little something like the order, institution, name, subject, date, military. Okay, it kind of gives me the vibe of what I need to look at, but it still is not quite there. So let's see what the Cal Guard has. Okay. So this is 4 pages long. The last 2 pages is an example. This looks identical to what right looks like, and there's a lot of verbiage here. So I recommend that you just Google Army Biographical Sketch template and then download the Cal Guard PDF and just take a look at this. We're gonna walk through and I'm gonna show you how to build this. So it tells you like what the bio sketch is about, you know, and it'll tell you that to make a list of all the jobs that you've had and the schools that you've attended, highlight those that are important. Make sure that you check your IPERMs, your ERB, and past NCOs for your records, review the information, and most useful in writing your biographical sketch, right? And writing your bio sketch, you got to make sure that your military education, all NCOs and MOS courses must be listed. So that means you need to prioritize the other classes that you've attended. And you may need to customize it out. Remember, like it's only the pertinent stuff they need to put in there that highlights your leadership potential or your experience, right? And that's pertinent to what you're applying for. List those positions that show a leadership or technical function, right? And oh, here you go. There's a reference, NGR 600-200. So let's look over here. NGR 600-200. Ooh, enlisted personnel, ng.mil. Boom, look at this. So this right here is gonna tell me what I need to know, right? Enlisted personnel management. So let's search for oh, look at that. Biographical sketch right off the bat. So figure G3, biographical sketch, page 100. So let's go next. By the way, I'm going real quick through this, but this is a skill that you gotta have. Be able to find information quickly. That's why I'm doing it from scratch, so you can understand like the steps that I took to get there. So nominee bio sketch, follow the sample appendix G, figure G3. Okay, cool. What's next? Oh, here we go. Biographical sketch. All right, this is bold, so similar to the Illinois Guard one that gave no instructions. It gives the general vibe here. Total years of service, date of birth, marital status, date of rank, present rank, date of rank. Okay, got it. Civilian education, military education, decorations, award, and citations spelled out in order of precedence. Okay, oh, and here we go. There's some additional information. Significant experience included duty status in primary civilian occupation or AGR, right? Limit to 2 pages, so some instructions, regular printed paper size, which is 8.5 by 11, white paper, you send a courier, Pika or Elite. So courier, you're familiar with that, like most bio sketches are written in that, and that's the correct font. Pika and Elite is not necessarily a font type per se, but it's an old-timey typewriter descriptor of the type of font and how it needs to occupy the space on the page. So Pika essentially is 10 letters per inch in the old historical typewriter, which most people have never seen one or used one. And Elite is 12 characters per inch on a page. So forget Pika and Elite and focus on Courier, right? Font type. If pursuing a degree, list major and minor, institution, date, projected completion. So if you haven't completed your education yet, but you are pursuing your education, list the course, the degree that you're pursuing, the major, the school, and then and the date that you're projected to complete. List only complete training courses, not list single sub courses under military education. Now listen, if you are in E9, you're probably not watching this. But for example, the Sergeant's Major Academy has multiple phases. And it's just one Sergeant Major course. But within the Sergeant Major course, you just roll into phase 1 to phase 2. It's not something that you sign up for every phase. You sign up for the course, and then you go through phases, you transition. And through that, you get a 1059 per phase. However, you don't put Sergeant Major course phase 1. You just put Sergeant Major course and the expected completion date of the final phase. Same thing for certain MOSs that may have like 3 or 4 phases, like the technical MOSs. I know like some 12 series MOSs for certain ranks is like 3 or 4 phases. So, you shouldn't necessarily have to put phase 1, 2, and 3, although you gotta, those aren't necessarily sub courses. They are phases, right? Phase 1, 2, and 3. But nevertheless, just use your state's guidance on that. ALC phase 1, ALC phase 2. Right? Use your state guidance on that. I will say if you haven't completed all of them and you have to sign up, and if you have to sign up for them individually, then you put the phase. If it's one of those things where you apply for one, but you just basically go through all the phases automatically without having to sign for each individual one, then in that case, just put your expected graduation from the final phase, or if you completed, just put ALC 12, whatever MOS it is, and then put the date that you graduated the final phase, right? This could get a little dodgy, so seek guidance on that. Include civilian affiliations, education, military, whatever, significant experience, list military duties assignment in civilian positions from most recent to oldest. Now the civilian positions, guys, I don't care if you're a teller at or a cash register attendant at McDonald's, because if it's not relevant to what you do in the military, it doesn't show leadership, right? Because these are leadership positions that you're applying for, and that's what your bio sketch is describing, your leadership capabilities, and that's what you're trying to highlight. A cash register attendant at McDonald's doesn't tell me much about other than you don't steal money. Great, it's got to be applicable to what you're applying for, and it's got to show how it's got to describe the type of leader that you are and the experience you have in leadership positions. So be very judicious, right, in how you put this. So if you are a civil engineer in a civilian side and your MOS is in civil engineering, you can show that, right, by saying, hey, I'm the lead architect or lead civil engineer for this firm. That's good. Anything else is not relevant. Do not include narrative bio, and that's what we're talking about, right? No biography, objectives, or abbreviations, like no narrative stuff on here. So if you see other biographies, Army biographies, that's not what this is. Your bio sketch is very specific. Type entries in regular print. Do not use all caps. I've seen that a bunch of times. Italics, bold fonts, or special characters, jargons, or any other gimmicks designed to draw special attention to specific entries on the document. List accurate information that is clear and concise, guys. This is figure G3 of biographical sketches of NGR 600-200, and this is the most recent one because I downloaded it from the NGB website, right? ng.mil. This is the official regulation, National Guard regulation. This is the most recent one, 2021. So let's go with this. Now let's see what Cal Guard is saying, right? It has a lot more information about abbreviations and how you can do stuff, right? It's self-explanatory, lists the city and state, you know, and it tells you how to do certain things, right? Lists civil education, college, blah, blah, blah. Degree as AAS. This is good. So what I recommend is that you Google Army Biographical Sketch and download the Cal Guard version PDF. I'm going to show you how to build it right now in a Word document so you can get some practice doing it yourself. If you want the template, just put in the comments below, send it, and I'll find a way to get it to you. But I strongly recommend that you follow how I'm building one from scratch and you do the same, because the more of this that you do, the better you'll get at manipulating. This is a basic admin skill that you learn as an E4 to build your bio sketch as an E5. All right, so we got a new document here, and I'm gonna put it side by side so we replicate this. So we already know that the instruction says courier. Courier new, here we go. The first item on the top here is gonna be centered and is gonna be biographical sketch. All right, perfect. So the next thing that goes on is left centered. Don't worry about the formatting right now. Just get all the information. Make sure you have all your documents. And I want to tell you a way to find stuff as we go along. Name, you're going to do BT1SG. That's my last name. My first name is Alex. And my middle initial is B for badass. Something like that. And it looks like on the Cal example is all the way right justified. If I look at the Army one, is right justified, but it's centered with the page, and I'll tell you how I know this right here. So let's move this over one. All right, date. So 2026-0101. It's the date that you made this, and all your data is going to be based off of this date. This is the information that you know today. And the reason why that's important is because if the board is 6 months from the day that you created this, right, and your information is slightly outdated, they will know at least like it was accurate from when you submitted the packet. This is probably the best indicator of when the packet exited your hand, because this should be the most up-to-date information that's on here. It's no longer social security number, it's DOD ID, so just put DOD ID, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Boom. All right, primary MOS. And we're gonna clean this up at the end. So let's say you are a 00 Fox to Oscar, not a 0, an O. Watch my video on that. So 00 Fox 20, that's what you do. But you're even more badass, and your duty MOS is 11 Bravo 2 Papa for paratroop. No, you're a Ranger. You're airborne Ranger, and that's what you are. So on the MOS code, it can be the 5, the 7, or the 9. And look up. Now, your primary MOS is the MOS that you went to school and you earned. Your duty MOS is in your NCOR, the paragraph and line that you occupy. There are systems of records that can get you that information. Just ask your unit and they'll tell you what paragraph and line you occupy. This is a good example right here, right? So you could be a 11 Charlie, right, to Oscar. You could be a team leader in a 11 Bravo team leader position, fire team leader, and in a position that requires, right, the additional training of being airborne qualified and Ranger qualified. So that will be a Victor that combines both, airborne Ranger. And I forgot if it's 0 Victor or it's just Victor, but just the best way to learn, by the way, on your MOS code, you can just go to part-time for sergeant, YouTube, and then you can go to my page right here. Whoa, that's super old. And you go on videos, you go to popular, and you scroll down, SQI and MOS code, and this will tell you how like the MOSs are lined up. So if you have other qualifications on your primary MOS based on things that you have done, this video will explain to you how to figure that out. And then your duty MOS is basically what your NCOR should have that, and these other systems of records will tell you what paragraph and line you occupy and what the MOS code for the paragraph and line is, which may be different from your primary MOS. Anyways, got it? Present rank. Present rank, this is not a rank, guys. This is a pay grade, and I've seen this tons. You are a sergeant. That's your rank. That is, holy moly. Let's go. Date of rank. Super high speed. You got promoted last year. 0101. There you go. Okay, the next line is years of active service and BASD. All right, guys. If you don't understand basic active service date, just go to my YouTube channel here, look at retirement. I have tons of videos on calculating retirement pay, your NGB form 23, 20 good years, 1 good year. All these videos will talk about that piece, but trust me, unless you're currently active duty, not on ADOS, not on deployment, I mean currently on active duty, AGR, or some kind of status that's permanent, unless you're not, if you're traditional end date, just do not put your basic active service date. Only put the years of active service. So let's say you have 2 deployments, 9 months apiece. That's a year and a half, 18 months. So this is how you do it. 12 months is 1 year, so you put that on there. And then the months, you're gonna annotate it as intense, right? However, a year has 12 months. So I'm gonna show you how to calculate that. So 18 months is 1 year and 6 months. So you do 6 months that you've completed, and you divide it by the total number of years, months in a year, which is 12, and that'll give you 0.5. So in this case, you'll do 1.5. You obviously don't have to use a calculator for 6 months because you know it's 0.5, and then you put years. And that's how you annotate that. Do not put BASD, do not put 1 year, 6 months, 1.5, do it in tenths. That's how you properly do that. And then total years of service and PBD. All right, real quick, you notice that of, and other words like that. Let me see another good one. With, these words you don't capitalize. Those are words that combines other words. Post it on the comments if you know what the frick they call it in grammar, speech. So let's say you've been around for, let's say you've been around for 8 years. 8 years and 4 months, let's say, for example. So how do you calculate 4 months? Once again, 4 divided by 12, right? That's 0.333. You can do 8.3 in this case, years, right? And I know these numbers won't match, but you will do your pay entry base date because that's fixed, right? That doesn't change. So 8 years back, that would be 2018. Is that right? And let's say 0 whatever that ends up being. It's actually before that. It's like 2017, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. So you do PBD. All right. Cool. Next is date of birth. And you put it in simple format. By the way, pick a format and stick with that format. If you want to do day as numerical, month as the 3 letters, and then years, then do that format across everything. I personally recommend do year, 4-digit, month, 2-digit, and where applicable, day, 2 digits. You can do whatever you want as long as it looks clean. And listen, after looking through 100 packets, you start picking out the shitty ones when you see how like people don't format it right. It's difficult to find things. If visually the way you laid it out, the board member can find things quickly where they expect it. It draw less attention. The moment you start drawing attention to your packet, the more the board member is going to scrutinize the rest of your packet. Don't try to stand out. I promise you, it does not end good for you. Place of birth, spring. Where the Simpsons? What's the state in the Simpsons? Springfield state, right? If you're born outside of the country, you'll put the city that you're born in and then the country, right? So, you know, Mexico, let's say, if you're born there. Marital status. There's technically 4 options, but the primary 3 is married, single, divorced. If you're widowed, you can choose to put that on there, but you know. And if you haven't had your practice wife yet, just put single or practice husband. Address 1, 2, 3, 4. Some street. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty simple. And by the way, I'm just pressing enter and going to the next line. It's automatically adding a gap in between lines. We'll fix that as we go along. Right now, we're not focused on formatting. We'll focus on the data. And this is all stuff that you mostly should know already with the information they have in front of you. So home, telephone number, guys. This is your mobile number, right? So you can do like this, or you can do like this. Just make it look neat. Right? Just make it look neat and consistent. For business telephone number, do not put a general directory. If you work at a store where people share numbers, do not put that. Just give me your cell phone number again. It's just a number I can reach you, or put NA if you don't have another number you need. Don't want to put your cell phone number twice. Up to you. Just don't put something that you will be physically picking up. And ideally, a number that you're not saying welcome to McDonald's, right? Let's be reasonable. Civilian education. Hey, forget what it says on here. BA, AS, BS, PhD. Just give the acronym. Everybody knows. Now, those weird technical degrees that have like weird acronyms, like physical therapy, like just keep it simple. If it's a doctorate, something like that, like use your best judgment, but use the generic ones that most people understand. So BA in communications. If it's like organizational communication or communications and public relations or something like that, or whatever your major is, put it on there. Try not to put too many words, because most likely doesn't enhance your leadership skill, and it's probably not applicable to your MOS. Therefore, no need to put something super long, complicated. Just make sure that it fits one line. Degree in something, and you can put, state, some state university, and then here's a good example, right? This right here is 2026. You haven't graduated yet, but you know you're gonna graduate in 2028 in June, right? Let's spell this correctly. So put your expected graduation date. If you graduated already, put it in there. If you have multiple degrees, go by most recent to later, right? So if your bachelor's was first and you got an associate's before and you got a certificate, some kind of technical certification before that, do that. Or if it's in between, do that. Just, you can list it right below, right? AA or technical certificate or whatever it is. If it's civilian education, this is the line to put it in. If you're running out of room and you put in too many items, you need to lose something, and you have extra degrees that's not relevant, or it's like a lower level degree that's really not that relevant, doesn't enhance your resume, kill it. For military education, you must put MOS producing schools, you must put NCO yes. NCO yes, MOS producing schools, and then everything else that's applicable, right? In this case, you're high speed, you went to ALC, advanced leaders course. In this case, ALC is MOS specific, so you got to put what the MOS is in there. So let's say you reclass to 00 Fox because you're awesome. That MOS doesn't exist. And then you're going to put at the end here, and this is with the dodgy one. If there's a phase 1 and phase 2, if you need to put that on there according to your state, just ask. If not, just put the last one that you graduated to complete ALC for you to be NCOs complete, right? And then this right here is just year, month. Get it right justified as much as possible. And you went to basic leader course. I'm just tabbing over and then space, year, month. Don't use YYMM, actually do years a month. So basic leaders course. And then you went to awesome guy MOSQ course, right? And that was where you got your 00 Fox reclass MOS. We'll do your AIT for unit supply specialist AIT, and it's 92 Yankee. We'll just copy it. We just at this point, I'm just trying to cruise through. And then you did, let's say you did master resiliency training course. So look at your 1059s and write down the name of the course exactly how it is. Some stuff you can abbreviate, like MOSQ, not military occupational specialty qualification course, or reclass. That's something that, or as opposed to reclassification, that's a jargon that we can understand. It's not necessarily jargon, it's just abbreviation and it's commonly used. Now, if it's something very niche to your MOS or your community, don't do that because I won't know what that is and I'll look at it like, I don't know what this is. So you suck for doing that because I don't understand it. Remember, it's not your unit's leadership that's going to be reviewing, that's going to be grading your packet. It's going to be random people that don't know you. So you see how I put NCOs at the top, MOS producing schools, and then other, right? Decorations, awards, and citations. And say you got a bronze star, BSM, yeah, bronze star medal with, right? Don't put the word with. It's not necessarily W with the / like that. A-okay. So with 2 bronze oak leaf cluster. So by the way, guys, if you need to look up what the devices and apertures are called, do not, like Roman numeral 2 is one of the things that I saw once and I'm like, there's no such thing. It's just a regular number 2. So you're gonna look up Army regulations. That promotions and stuff like that is in a 600 series of the Army regulations. So you go down 600, specifically 600-8 is what you're looking for. So scroll down 600-8- military awards 22. Here you go, boom, and just go in there. Look at that. This is just a regular civilian computer, my personal computer, and there it is. You can pull this information. It's publicly available. You do not need to bribe anybody to get it. AI 600-8-22. Go in there, figure out what the awards are, It needs to be the order of precedent. Please do not screw this up. Some people reviewing packets, they catch on to this very quickly without even having to have the awards listed on your desk or anything like that. They can spot this. Anyways, so figure out what the apertures are. If for some reason there's certain awards or ribbons that don't have different color stars, it's just one color star. In that case, there's no need to articulate the bronze star with, with 2 oak leaf clusters. That's sufficient, right? But bronze, because you could get silver oak leaf cluster, because if you're badass, you can have that. Let's say you have Army Commendation Medal. With 2 bronze oak leaf clusters. That's sufficient. Let's put with V device for valor. All right, and that's how you put it. It's oak leaf cluster, then V device. Let's keep this short. So you have national defense, right? Because you deployed a couple times. National defense, service ribbon, service medal. And he did inherent resolve campaign medal with 3 campaign stars. And your DD Form 214 will have that information for you. Global War on Terrorism, service medal, Armed Forces Reserve medal with M device because you immobilize. NCO Professional Development Ribbon with numeral. Do it because you went to BLC and ALC. And the final one is Army Service Ribbon. It's technically not the final one. So here you can see that I did the awards in order of precedent, right? So your BSM is the first one, Army Commendation, and then all the other campaign participation stuff. Then it goes to NCO Professional Development Ribbon and Army Service Ribbon. Boom. Now, if you look on here, right, you can continue the decorations at the bottom here. So Overseas Service Ribbon, I forgot about that. And then you can have your state badges, your state ribbons. Then let's say you did a driver's badge, and then meritorious. Let's get down to civilian affiliation. Let's say you're VFW. Whatever it is, right? So like American Red Cross, volunteer, you're a member, some kind of organization, you're a volunteer firefighter, that may be more civilian experience as it relates to, your MOS or anything like that. But, you know, fine if you have some kind of affiliation, if it's a fraternity, some kind of fraternal order, or if you're a Mason, that'll be something you put on there. So that's what civilian affiliation is. Please don't put anything stupid on there. So significant experience. It could be military experience, civilian experience as it pertains to display your technical skills, your leadership skills, or MLS specific skills. That's what you put on there. So right now, you are a really cool NCO, right? So you put, that's the first thing that you put, your position, right? What MOS that is. So let's say that's the 00 Fox, right? You're an E5 holding that position. And then your unit is like Alpha Company, 123 Battalion, right? And you are an M-Day in that assignment, right? So let's tab over here and we'll fix this later. You're gonna do year, month. Do not do day, that's dumb. And then present, because that's your current position. Prior to that, you were really cool section chief, right? And I wanna show you something real quick. That was still a 00 Fox, still E5 position, right? And this is BCO 123. Look at that. I'm starting to run out of room. 123 BN. And let's say this is your deployment. So you put forward, and that's how you put, because your MTO moves forward via a DMD, right? So use the DMD unit descriptor. If you're looking at your APO, it will say, you know, BCO 123BN forward, because that's the flag that's moving forward. And in the rear still remains BCO 123BN. It's just, it'll potentially be different UICs, right? So just be cognizant of that. And then you're gonna say MOB. Look at that, now I ran out of room. What do I do here? In this case, if you read the instructions from California as a good example, you'll find a way to break this off somewhere clean. Let's say right here. On your second line, you tab in, and that's how you do that. And then your year, month, day is done this way. No day, just year, month. And that's how you do that so it looks clean. Find a clean way to break that off into a second line so it doesn't look stupid. It's easy for the reader to see. If you start doing funky stuff here, I got lost in one of the in one of the packets because I just didn't know what assignments were which, because it just wasn't clean. Just make it clean. It's not very hard. And then go infantry, or you can do team leader. 42 Alpha, because that was your other MOS. And you were in E5 here as well. And this is HHC 456 Brigade, and you were ADOS, right? And then you don't have to put anything else. If you're a team member in a different organization that's significant, if you worked in a Pentagon or something like that, then yeah, put it on there. But like, it shows that you have experience outside of the organization. So if you have something significant like that, like you work in a different state and you have the room, sure, add it on there. If it doesn't display your breadth of knowledge, your technical skills or leadership abilities or leadership experience, then don't put it on there if it's not necessary. So now let's format this bad boy. So let's make it look like this. So first thing you're gonna do, you're gonna Control-All, please do not delete. You're gonna remove any spacing. Look at that, now it's starting to look a little bit better, right? And now let's manually just Enter and create the space manually. Look at that, it's starting to look like something. home address, home telephone number, business telephone number, civilian education, and leave these together. You live military together, decorations together, and like, oh, look at that. Decorations just kind of broke off into the next line. So you go decorations, continued. That's perfectly acceptable. Let me see how they did it here. And avoid citation, continued. Yeah, that's exactly how they did it. You don't need to do the long version. You could just copy and paste and just add the word continued, but it's really up to you. And then this is overseas. Please spell stuff correctly. And make sure. Okay, civilian affiliation. It's going to be military experience. Look at that. It's looking pretty clean. Like, this is pretty good as is. But I can tell you right now that this is 1.5 spacing, which it is easy to read, but really, a 1.25 spacing. If you're running out of room, this site can clean this up right here. Right, all I did was go over here, look at line spacing, and make it 1 instead of 1.15. And then as you make modifications, make sure you're cleaning stuff up. Let's cut this out of here, right? If you have it where civilian affiliation cuts in, it gets split, the title and the affiliation, it's okay, just push it down so you have the header in the same line. So you don't have just a header on one page and then like the actual stuff on the second. Just break it down, make it look pretty. Now let's see how this stuff right here, right? This right here looks to me like it's centering the page. This is how I know. So 8.5 is the measurement of the entire width of the page with 1-inch margins all around. So you're gonna go 8.5 minus 2 inches, 6.5. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. Half divided by 2 is 1/4. So in this case, 3, right? So from here, 1, 2, 3, and 1/4 will land you here, which is right where the C is. So you can maybe pull this back and just do this right here. I'll go down here, maybe push this so the years kind of line up and it's easy to see. PBD, right click and ignore so you don't have this squiggly line sitting there looking stupid. PBD is looking kind of goofy over here by itself. Maybe I'll start lining this up. Date and PBD together. Yeah, this is looking a little bit prettier. Same thing with the telephone number. You don't see this is stuff that it just makes it look nicer and cleaner to see. I know these are telephone number. If you're applying for a position, ADOS, AGR, whatever it is, like this is easier to look at. And it shows a level of detail of your packet. It's easier without doing anything goofy like italicizing stuff, just or any crazy formatting that sticks out to the point that's like, hey, this is wrong. This is very subtle. You're just lining things up. Everything's looking good. The regulation doesn't specify how to line it up. Just make it look. Just try to mimic what it has in the actual regulation, right? And don't make it goofy. Look at how CalGuard does theirs, right? This is pretty clean. Except for this. They should have put this in the second line. I don't know why they do this. What else can I clean here? Place of birth. Can I push place of birth a little further? Yeah. All right, look at this. Now I can start lining this. Oh, look at that. This all lines up right here. This all looks nice and clean. This looks nice and clean. This looks clean, single, courses. Validate that that information is accurate. Right? Individual award, state award, individual awards, the individual badges, and then units, and then the next one is foreign. Just follow that format and you'd be good to go. Civilian affiliations. And then significant experience. So let's say the 00 Fox is a technical thing. So you can go cool manager, and then you can go ABC Corp, right? This is your civilian job, and you can put civ, and you go your year, month, and this is also present, right? Because it's civilian job. You're a cool manager that's tied into this MOS. That's relevant, put it on there. All right. So that's pretty much it. You can bold the biographical sketch title, and that's pretty much the only thing. Everything else, just keep it basic. As you can see here, it's relatively easy to read. Once you read a few, you'll start seeing that. What right looks like and what less right looks like, and then what wrong looks like. Whatever you do, do not copy this font type, especially when the instruction says Courier. This font is not Courier or a typewriter type font. So do not use this. And I've seen this several times in packets, or I've seen wacky stuff that people add to their stuff that doesn't make sense. What they formatted is incorrect. It just looks bad, guys. So if you want this template, just hit me up on the comment section. Just send it in the comments, and I'll find a way to get it to you. But I strongly recommend that you build this from scratch, because it'll be better for you. And as you progress through the ranks, it's better for the soldiers that you are coaching and mentoring and teaching them how to do this, and ultimately so they can replace you and they can pass it on to the next soldier. Right? Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.